he or she would then approve it, and then they would do their own internal testing where they go through their own board before they push out a final document. So it's more of like a handoff.
Okay.
So internally, Honeywell did all the changes, then we handed it off to the American Airlines to vet the changes, and then they would approve it. There was a couple times where they disapproved it, and it's usually because they don't like the verbiage. Maybe they want it to be more clear. Maybe they want us to elaborate, and that they're getting most of their tech changes through the field, right? Through live, near the disasters, pilot recommendations.
Okay. So at Honeywell, were you doing any training yourself or involved in any training, or was it primarily tech pubs?
Primarily tech pubs.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like Boeing was really where you were really involved in the direct training.
Correct.
Okay. So I think thinking of, I think your Boeing experiences, well, actually, let me back up. So have you had any experiences with VR?
I did, and when I was actually in the Navy, where I was pilot trainer in the Navy, all of our flight simulators were in a VR setting. So our day-to-day was we'd get pilots, the newly graduated pilots, they have their academic requirements, of course, but to get live training, we had a flight simulator in place where it was an actual cockpit, and they, for their heads-up display, they incorporated virtual reality headsets just to get understanding. And it's the same thing as Boeing. We wanted them to be comfortable with the stick and just the aircraft before they actually got pushed over to actual flight training.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's changed since, but it used to be an 8-week VR training before they actually got actual flight training.
So what years were you in the Navy?
2000 to 2006.
Okay.
And then after that,
okay, so
I took a pilot job with Textron, and we're mostly flying around Afghanistan and Iraq areas. And of course, there I racked up. I think when I left, I was there for 2 years. I racked up about 15,000 flight hours.
Good grief. Okay. 15,000? Wow.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So let me. So the kind of VR so nowadays, VR has changed since you were in the Navy. There's more, VR is come down in price. It's more readily available just on a, high-powered PC or like a gaming PC. You could use an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive. These are products that, any consumer can go out and buy. You get a headset that's connected to your PC, and you've got controllers in your hands, and the headset completely occludes the outside world, so you only see what's in the headset. When you think about, your training experiences, do you think of any that would benefit from being delivered in this kind of VR?
Absolutely. I think pilot and mechanic training will greatly benefit. And not to put anybody out of work. And we brought this up years ago with Boeing, and we just never could find a VR that everybody universally liked. Was if you can do that, we truly believe, and we have the documentation to prove it. You can cut training down by a third. Because the problem is it's people, right? You got distractions. And I used to always say during our actual sim training, if we actually had incorporated some type of headset, it'll never be true reality, of course, right? But it keeps the pilot alert. I know what I'm trying to say. It keeps them more in tune, right, to their actual surroundings. Because our biggest reasons that we had a lot of, failures in the field or any near mishaps is just complacency.